Shh. Nobody's listening, right?
Hi, Andy.
Hello.
Is anybody listening?
Yes, this is from Casey. Thank you. St. Monica brought me to you last year during some pretty bad postpartum depression and anxiety. Listened to y'all and going back and listening to your entire Spotify archive and a lot of Patreon episodes. Ooh. Brought me so much joy and laughter through sleepless nights. Also, Andy's journey inspired me to get an official ADHD diagnosis as an adult. Y'all have truly changed my life and brought me an incredible amount of happiness and the feeling of community during a lonely time.
Oh my gosh, that is so nice.
That means a lot. That's really, really sweet.
That's very meaningful.
And I hope you're on the other side of that postpartum stuff.
Yes.
I know nothing about it, but you've heard it's real bad.
The postpartum is no joke. That's very meaningful. And if anyone else wants to listen to those back episodes, I'm not
that felt
transition
too quick on the heels.
I know. No,
Jeez.
I mean, my heart goes out to anyone. I actually, well, we'll get to that in a second. It's patreon.com/nobody's listening right to support our show and hear all of our back episodes and a monthly bonus episode. Great.
Dropping soon if you're listening to this episode right now.
The next day.
Ooh, hey, and can I just say right now, Happy Valentine's Day. This week's partner is AG1. If you want to take ownership of your health, try AG1 and get a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3K2 and 5 free AG1 travel packs with your first purchase. Go to drinkag1/NLR.
And also want to thank our other sponsor, Calm. Thanks to Calm, the #1 mental wellness app for supporting Nobody's Listening Right. Stress less, sleep more, relax. Calm's got everything you need for a happier and healthier you. If you go to calm.com/NLR, you'll get a special offer of 40% off a Calm premium subscription. That's calm.com/NLR. So speaking of postpartum, I'm not comparing. Obviously, I've been there post having babies twice, but we are fostering puppies and I've been up all night with them and I feel that, and it's just 2 days in, I truly go back in time. I'm like, how do women do it who have also men, but especially women who are breastfeeding, to have babies and be like 6 weeks later back at work and up all night breastfeeding and it's just the level of exhaustion I feel after 2 nights of this is I have that like jittery kind of wired tired.
This might be really upsetting for some people to hear.
Yeah.
But what do you think's harder? Middle of the night doing the middle of the night breastfeed and then getting the baby to go back to sleep, or the middle of the night 3 brand new puppies and everything entailed with
poop.
Poop, pee.
The babies are harder on so many levels, especially if you've given
absolutely. I'm talking about just this middle of the night situation.
Well, you can't really separate. I mean, I guess if you're really boiling it down to just 1-to-1, and also it depends woman to woman. Some women have a very easy time breastfeeding. For me, especially our first kid, breastfeeding was relatively easy. So I would say especially if you were getting up and handing her to me and I'm breastfeeding her and then handing her off, yeah, that's probably easier because I'm just sitting in bed. Breastfeeding wasn't stressful, but definitely, a lot of people say puppies and babies are the same. They're not. Obviously, I think babies are more challenging. But being up twice in the night and cleaning up so much pee and poop, so much. And these puppies are so sweet and cute, but they're nippy. They're teething.
Would you say, what's the difference to the nipple feel between the puppy?
Oh my God. I don't think we're in that. That's a normal podcast day thing for you to say. I also want to address this Valentine's Day. I feel like there's been tension between us
What do you mean?
I feel like it's related to these puppies.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I thought you meant like right now. Where I feel like I'm just like a little stressed out right now. I don't have any hatred or animosity towards you brewing.
Thank you. What a relief.
Okay, I will say this: as stressed out as we are, as tired as we are, you more so than me. Just be very clear with that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna walk on some eggshells here.
Yeah.
I am glad that we're recording this podcast today. Listener, we're doing this a little later than we normally did. If we had recorded it on our typical day of recording, wow, what a different podcast.
Wow.
So much has changed.
So much.
We're going to talk about the dogs, which is a big change. And then I have a big update that something happened to me while I was gone, too.
Oh, boy.
So, I mean, I am glad. I know we're a little stressed out.
Because we're like squeezing this podcast. Normally, we're so on a sketch.
We're on a sketch. We're going to record this, and then I'm going to get editing it this is the quickest turnaround we've ever done.
Pop it up.
So, should we just get into the dogs first?
Yeah, I think we're there
Okay.
already.
I went out of town with our son to take him skiing for the first time. Mm-hmm. We will definitely have to circle back to all of that.
Okay.
But while we're gone,
Yeah.
I get a text from you, and it's a picture of like an Instagram story of 3 puppies that need fostering. Mm-hmm. Now, to set the
They were
stage...
dumped in a park.
Hold on, fine.
Well, I mean, relevant.
To set the stage, though, we have been having a little dog fever in the house.
We have.
Our daughter really wants a dog. I have been feeling the urge for a dog. It has been
I've
in
been
the
missing
air.
dog energy.
Right. The main reason we don't have a dog, though, is because you have allergies.
Yes.
Now, you sent me this, like, should we foster these dogs? Which we do foster dogs from time to time.
Like every few years.
Yeah.
And this is the Mutt Scouts rescue. It's at Mutt Scouts on Instagram.
Yes.
In Los Angeles that I used to volunteer, like almost full-time volunteer for.
Yeah.
So I know this world. I know the people.
Yes. So you sent me that picture, said, should we do it? And I wrote, okay, like as a joke, why on earth would we foster 3 puppies?
The thing I said was, can we foster for 3 days and keep in kids' bathroom? You said, okay.
Okay. And then within like 5 minutes, you're like, it's a done deal. You had you already spoken with them?
No.
You hadn't?
I said, okay, I'm messaging.
Okay.
And then you wrote, I thought you were joking. And I said, oh, shit.
So long story short, you end up getting these 3 puppies. You start sending some photos
Can I give some context also?
Yeah.
They were dumped in a park with 2 other litter mates. The 2 other litter mates, the shelter lady wanted to adopt them. Mm-hmm. Being in a shelter is not good for puppies this little because they can get all sorts of terrible diseases, parvo, diphtheria, or something. So they posted, we need a foster 2-day urgent. And I thought, I can't do it for many days because we have some traveling coming up and stuff, but I could take it for a few days. And because we've had dog fever and stuff, I thought, well, this might scratch that itch. And also, I don't know where my allergies are at. Mm-hmm. Well, they're still here, it turns out. But aside from the sleepless nights, it's been very fun.
Yes. Now, I think we FaceTimed that night with you, and you started introducing them in their names. Mm-hmm. And there was Jasmine, there was Rosie, and there was Daisy. And I was like, Daisy? Like, that's my brother's dog. That looks sort of similar to these dogs' name. And then I realized, but like, I had a childhood dog named Daisy. Before that, my family had another dog named Daisy. Mm-hmm. And I was like, this is going to be our dog probably.
I had a dog named Daisy also. You keep leaving out. I had a big black dog named Daisy.
So then you were giving vibes that like we might keep this dog. You were going on and on about how wonderful Daisy was.
Well, Daisy they're all so wonderful. It's funny because
I'm a Jasmine guy now.
Yeah, you have in your heart a different dog. So it all kind of worked out anyway. And I want to get to last night, how you turned on them so abruptly. But anyway, so Teddy and I had them for the full day. Teddy was in heaven and also was so helpful taking care of these dogs. And it's no joke. I mean, people who have had puppies know. Now, it's 3 of them, which in some ways makes it easier because they play together and wear each other out. But in other ways, namely the sheer volume of body waste coming out of these tiny little creatures.
The pees, what's crazy. They just keep peeing.
It's like unbelievable. So we have 1 million pee pads. Not that the pee pads matter. You saw on the Ring cam me doing laundry at 3 a.m. Because I had to step outside to do that. So anyway, long story short, everything was great. You and Otis show up. Now, we know this is temporary. We are having them for a total of 3.5 days. Which I do think makes it easier to like deal with in some ways, is like enjoy it while you can. And I really am enjoying them. They are so cute, so much fun, and very sweet dogs, although like their personalities coming out. One is definitely the dominant, feistier, more rambunctious. Daisy, I thought, was the like little sweet. I mean, she is a little sweet cuddle bug, but I think as she's eating more food and getting healthier, she's becoming a little bit more bold. And then Jasmine is just such a sweetheart. So it's 3 girls. If anyone wants to check them out, if you're in the market for very sweet puppies, go to Mutt Scouts on Instagram and you can reach out to them there. And if anyone does adopt them, please tell us because I want to keep track of them. But anyway, you were very upset. I do want to read the text thread because you started unraveling. So
wait, let me just say this is why I was upset before you read this. And I know, not even being here with you and Teddy, I know you lit a bit of a flame of hope for Teddy that we might be keeping one of these dogs. I know you did because I felt it too. I could tell in your talking to me in our text, and you were like, "You're really gonna fall in love with this dog." Like you put it out there. I just want you to know.
I was falling in love with her, but I never ever once said to our daughter, "Maybe we can keep this one." I never verbally.
What you told her was, if mommy didn't have allergies, we would keep this one.
Probably.
She told me that 4 times yesterday.
Okay, well,
and I would acknowledge it when she said it, and then she kept telling me.
Everyone's making my allergies out to be the monster, which is really annoying. I know it's a problem, but so what happened was then I texted a picture of them in the crate to you, and you said, "Did you take this picture?" And I said, "I did." And then you said, "You're insane. This will go down as one of the wildest decisions you've ever made." And then after you saw Daisy, and I was talking about Daisy a little bit, you then texted me, "What % chance we can keep Daisy?" And I said, "Very hard to say right now, but she's really special." So I can see why you thought.
Yes.
And then you said, you sent me a picture of one of the pictures I had sent. And you said, "Which one is this?" And I said, "That's Daisy." And you said, "Oh no." And then I gave an update after the first night because my allergies really kicked in at night.
Okay.
And I said, "So look, you're going to fall in love with Daisy. She's amazing, but I don't think she's the dog for us. I'm pretty sure she's going to have a fluffy shedding coat. If she were non-shedding, it might be different, but I want you to prepare yourself because otherwise she's basically perfect." Your response to this was, "What a mess you have made." I saw that photo last night and truly thought it looked like our dog. I hope you have prepared Teddy for this trauma. Okay. Then later, I don't even respond.
Wasn't there an emoji?
Yes, a crying face emoji.
Yeah.
Then, honestly, I don't even want a dog. It was a stupid feeling in my heart when I saw that picture. then you said, I bet she's not even that cool. And then you said, I don't like dogs.
I was just all of
You
that
were
whole
spiraling.
thread. No, that whole thread I was messing with you. No.
Okay.
Yeah. I thought,
And then I said, oh no. And you wrote, oh no, what? This is where it gets kind of mean. You realized you don't have a heart. And then you did just allergies in quotes with 4 question marks after it.
I want you to know this.
You
this
realized you
entire
don't-
thread I thought was really funny.
It was very funny.
Okay.
And actually, our friends.
Did you know I was joking when I was sending you those?
I did. I enjoyed it. Our friends Terry and Annie were over meeting the puppies, and so I was laughing and showing them. Okay. So anyway, you all get home, you meet the puppies. Now, I think it's really good for Otis also, who's been a little scared of dogs,
Yeah.
to be around
Yeah.
puppies, and they are nipping at him and stuff, and he's dealing with it.
Yep.
Teddy is being like caretaker of the year.
Mm-hmm.
You meet them and kind of are like, but I think prepared at least to know.
I had a lot of fun with them yesterday, but I didn't let myself get swept up in any of it. I was reserved.
So then, we have them on this kind of schedule where they sleep for a while, get them up. In the morning and afternoons, we feed them and then like take them outside to hopefully poop and pee, at least some of it outside.
Mm-hmm.
But run around, get their energy out, give them things to chew on, and then they wear themselves out and go to sleep again.
Yeah.
So it really is kind of like a baby where it's kind of an every 3 hours, you start the cycle over. But you were in it with me yesterday. As soon as you got home, you're like cleaning up after the dogs, playing with them, pulling them out, putting them there.
Yeah.
Well, last night, so they typically get us up at like 11.
Yeah.
We had been asleep because I was so tired from the night before. You were tired from what you're about to tell me about. And I cleaned up the bathroom where all the poop and pee was for 10 minutes. And then I come out and you're sitting there and you go, they've turned into little demons. They're biting my toes.
Yeah.
Which I should have warned you, you need to have socks on. Otherwise they will bite your toes and it hurts.
Yeah.
But the way you turned on them, it was so you, because you really were then over it.
You don't understand what happened, though. I had played with them a bunch before this time, and they're feisty and they're nippy and whatnot. This was the first time I was alone with them. It was late at night. You were in the other room cleaning up pee and poo. They all 3 at once went for my toes.
I have
like
had that
biting
happen.
my toes.
I know. You're
like
acting like I don't know what I have
And,
had.
like,
I've experienced it. It's
it
not
was
fun.
horrible.
I know, but it's funny because this is very you. When someone or something crosses the threshold for you, it's an instant just shut down. I'm out. I hate this person. I won't say you hate this dog, but
People find yes.
I
but-
had found, I had that happen to me. I had all sorts of things happen to me that were uncomfortable with the puppies, but I'm also like, they're puppies. What are you going to expect? And your attitude I found very funny.
Oh, that's fine.
Interesting.
It's just, I played with them earlier in the day. Nothing is nippy like this. They took the nippy, if it was a 2 before, they took it to a 10, and that 10 was directed to my toes, all 3 of them at once. It was bananas. But I have to turn on them because I don't want to get attached.
Yeah.
I've had the dog fever lately. And also, I'm like, if I'm upset with you at all, it's just the sadness that I'm feeling for our daughter already. These dogs leaving.
It's going to be very hard, but here's another thing. I want to justify this. We don't do a lot of volunteer work as a family. We just don't. If there's a canned food drive or whatever, we contribute. But I want to instill this sense of service, and this is a great way, especially being a temporary foster, to bridge the gap for these rescues. I feel like, and Teddy's done, we rescued kittens. We rescued another dog a couple of years ago.
I'd like to
fostered.
rescue a bunny.
Would love to rescue a bunny.
See if you're allergic to that.
I think it's good. I know it's hard for Teddy, and maybe I shouldn't have said if I didn't have allergies, but I made it very clear from the gate. This is just temporary. It's going to be a few days. Do you want to do this knowing?
No, but you didn't make it totally clear. In
Yes,
your
I
heart,
did.
you're giving a vibe. There's some subtext even to the text that you sent me. I know you were entertaining this.
No, I was internally for a moment. I never said it out loud to Teddy. Going to get them, I said, are you sure you want to do this knowing that we're going to have to say goodbye to them in a few days?
Okay.
Then we got them, and I was like, this puppy Daisy.
Okay, we get it. I get it.
Okay.
I get it.
Okay. Hey, everyone. Now time to take a pause and a collective deep breath together. Isn't that nice? Our wonderful sponsor, Calm, came into my life at exactly the right time. As you might know, these past few weeks, dealing with so much anxiety, spiraling thoughts. So if you can relate, please check out Calm, the #1 app for sleep and meditation, giving you the power to calm your mind and change your life. And their meditations range from focuses on anxiety and stress, relaxation and focus, to building habits and taking care of your physical well-being. So, stress less, sleep more, and live better with Calm. If you go to calm.com/NLR, you'll get a special offer of 40% off a Calm premium subscription, and new content is added every week. Remember, it's important to use our code to get this special offer and to help support our podcast. Another fantastic thing about Calm has been the kids sections for meditations and stories. Our kids have been asking to hear these Calm stories instead of watching TV before bed. And if you have a kid like ours who goes turbo right before bedtime, this is necessary. For listeners of our show, Calm is offering an exclusive offer of 40% off a Calm premium subscription at calm.com/NLR. Go to calm.com/NLR for 40% off unlimited access to Calm's entire library. That's calm.com/NLR.
As some of you may remember, towards the end of last year, I was feeling off, a little stressed, just not right. And wouldn't you know, something came into my life that helped get the ship back on course. You know what I'm talking about, that's someone. AG1. Not only did I replace my multivitamin with AG1, but I love that every scoop also includes prebiotics, probiotics, and digestive enzymes for gut support. And let me tell you, I like having my gut supported. I think Elizabeth likes when my gut is supported as well. It couldn't be easier and has become a part of my daily routine. I put 1 scoop into the cool, sleek AG1 bottle, give it a good shake, and drink it while I'm getting the kids ready for school. It's my little tradition. I'm about 2 months into this AG1 journey, and I feel great. It feels good knowing that I'm kicking off the day, giving my tank some of the good stuff to get going. AG1 is the supplement I trust to provide the support my body needs daily, and that's why we're so excited we've partnered up with them. If you want to take ownership of your health, it starts with AG1. Try AG1 and get a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3, K2, and 5 free AG1 travel packs with your first purchase. Go to drinkag1.com/NLR. That's drinkag1.com/NLR. Check it out. So, I had a little guys' weekend with our son.
Aw.
We went up to the mountain. He's never been on the mountain, gone skiing yet. And so I was taking him for his first ski lesson. And we got a ton of snow down here. So I knew it was going to be bananas up at the ski resort, right?
Yes.
Because this is kind of the first big dump of the year, it seems like.
Yeah, it's been very dry for a while.
Yeah, so I knew this was going to be a little bit madness. We got up really early to drive up, which usually we beat the traffic even on snowy days. Was not the case. It was...
I don't know about that. You left at like 7:15.
Mm-hmm.
I think in the past, beating snow traffic meant 5:30.
No, I think we're good if we leave at like 6:30. I think we would do it.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I really do. Anyways, the drive took a long time to get up there. So that just kind of started off the day like, woo, that takes a while. But we're hanging out a little bit. I signed him up for a evening lesson because I was like, it'll probably be less crazy and maybe the classes will be smaller. And also, we don't have to worry about when we get up there and whatnot. So we then head to his evening lesson, which is a 4 o'clock lesson. It took us like an hour to get from our cabin to there, which I was not prepared for.
Whoa.
So I'm stressing out, you know me, just because, like, are we going to be late because we got to get his rental and all this stuff? We get there, the lines, the parking lot, I've never seen the madness that it was.
Really?
Yeah. So anyways, we get there, we're in a big line for the rental thing. It's just like a nightmare. The lady at the ticket booth is like, oh, you'll be okay. Like, we're going to be a little late for the lesson. Long story short, we get the rentals and everything. The rental guy gives my son Pokemon cards, which was incredible.
Aww.
Things are starting to turn up. We walk over to like the kids' ski area or whatever. It's 4:15, so we're 15 minutes late. There's no one around. So I'm like, oh no. And then the door's locked too. So I'm like, oh, bummer. And then this lady appears. She's in the jacket that everyone's wearing. And I'm like, hey, we're here for the 4 o'clock group. And she looks like a little confused. And I'm like, I'm sorry we're late. We got, like, the traffic's insane. And she's like, okay. And she gets on the radio and said something. And it's like, I've got another one for the group. And she's like, okay, I got it. I'll take him. She walks in through, like, the kids' area. And then Otis is gone. And so I leave.
Otis, and is he in skis?
He's got his skis and he's got all of his gear.
He's carrying him.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right, yeah, and I think the lady probably carries the skis. But they go through like this kids area. I know where you go to watch the kids lesson because our daughter's taking snowboard lessons there. So I kind of start making my way towards there. And I get to the spot and I reach in my pocket and I'm like, I didn't even give the lady like the ticket for him.
Oh no.
Right? And I'm like, is that bad? Like, does she know?
Need it?
Right. I'm just like, you know me. I'm a little like
nervous.
nervous.
Yeah, I would be same.
So I'm standing watching. I see some little kids out there in the kids area. They're all snowboarders. I'm like, oh, they must not have brought the skiers out yet. A few minutes passes by, and then I'm like, wait, there are a couple skiers there. And then I just start getting nervous. Like, where did he
go?
Did I just hand my
Him
kid to some lady with a radio? Like,
right.
She did have the jacket on. So I was like, this is an employee. She had a radio. But I'm like, where did he go? So I see another instructor walking by. And I was like, excuse me. And she's about to go in the building. And I'm like, I'm looking for my son. His name's Otis. We just got here. We were a little late, but I thought he would be out by now. And she's like, oh, let me take a look. And she walks in and she comes out and she's like, there's nobody inside. And so I'm like, oh, fuck. So fortunately, she comes over and I'm explaining more to her. And I'm like, I didn't even get my ticket. And I think she can tell I'm starting to like get nervous. And so she's like, well, let's go over to where the private lessons are. We go over there and there's a guy there. And he's like, there is no group lesson right now or something. And I'm like, what? I'm just start getting very,
Andy. Oh God,
very freaked out.
I would be too.
And this place is jumping, even though it's night. It is chaos. Ugh. So I'm standing in
this. I mean, our son is, skiing for the first time. Yeah. Not the most coordinated human being you've ever met.
Yep.
And is also, this is very brave of him to try this. So you not knowing what's happening is scary.
Yes.
On so many levels.
So this instructor that's trying to help me is like, maybe they're up in this other area. Sometimes the evening lessons are up there. And she's like, I'll go look. And she's like, well, you got to have a pass to get through there, like gates. And it's like, I have a season pass. And she's like, okay. So she lets me come with her. And we go there. And then we're walking. And she's like, is that your son? And I was like, oh, yes, that's my son.
Even though I know he's home, I'm like stressed out hearing this.
And so I see Otis in his little helmet, skis. I see no children. All I see is him in a group class with all adults.
Oh my God. Oh my. What?
Yes.
So
I am
How many adults?
Probably 8 adults in it plus an Otis.
What?
Yeah. So the lady that took him over there, she's there. And I'm like, oh, okay, you're there. And I'm like, oh, I just didn't know where you guys went. And I was like, where are the kids? And she's like, oh, for these evening classes, it's all put together. And I'm like, okay, maybe like just no other kids signed up for the...
Yeah.
But I'm like, what were the kids that I saw in the kids area?
Right.
Maybe it's a private lesson. I don't know. I still don't know. I don't know if this lady just brought him over and the instructor was like, yeah, whatever. Because I never gave a ticket or anything.
Wow.
But so fortunately I could be in that area. So I'm watching, but I'm also trying not to be... involved or interrupt.
Yeah.
But there's some things that the instructor's not acknowledging at all. Otis doesn't have poles because kids don't start with poles, but everybody else has poles, and so much of the lesson has to do with how to use your poles, and you can move like this with your poles, but how is Otis going to move? He doesn't know. He doesn't have poles to push himself.
Oh.
So I'm just starting to get worried that, like, this is his first time ever. This must be so stressful. It's also cold as fuck at night. That was an oversight.
Oh.
It's cold when
It
the sun
gets real
goes
cold.
It gets real cold when the sun goes down. So I'm stressing out about that. And then the guy's like, okay, let's go over the chairlift. And I'm like, whoa.
Now, this also has been, we have promised Otis there's no chairlift because he's a little scared of it, rightfully.
Rightfully so. I told him they never do the chairlift the first day.
There's a magic carpet, like, conveyor belt thing that takes the kids up for their lessons.
Yes.
And I honestly, watching him, you sent me a video of him on the chairlift, he also tends to, like, slink out of seats.
Yes.
In a way that, like, if I were there, I would be kind of like, I'm not sure about him going with not me or you.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, my thought in this was like, I'm probably going to pull the ripcord. There's no way he's going to even want to do this.
Yes.
Right? So...
Does he see you there and stuff?
Yeah, he sees me there once I eventually show up. Okay. And I check in with him once earlier. Then the chairlifting happens, and I go over, and I'm like, hey, bud, it looks like they actually are going to do the chairlift. This seems like you're an adult lesson, which he's figured out by now. And I was like, are you okay with that? Because, you know, that's not a normal thing with the kids' lessons. We don't have to do that. And he's like, no, I'm okay. And I'm like, huh. So
wow,
now
he's so brave.
So now I'm thinking he's being brave. I'm okay with this if he goes with the instructor.
Yeah.
And I'm also thinking, in what world wouldn't he go with the instructor on the chairlift? Because, like, he's the only kid there.
Yeah, they're not going to have some other new skier going with the little kid.
Right. So the instructor then goes, who wants to ride with me on the chair?
No.
I swear. And this is where I yell out like, he'll go with you. And then some other lady raises her hand. I'm like, lady, why are you raising your hand?
Are they not seeing?
And so the instructor's like, you guys can both come with me. And there's 2 lifts right there, and the slow beginner one's a 2-chair. And I'm like, why on earth would they be going on the faster one? These people have never been on a chairlift before. Right? So I'm stressed about that.
Andy, this is horrible.
Yeah, I mean, I'm freaking out. So then I see they get in line for the 2-seater, and I'm like, you just got to calm down. There's not a world where the instructor is going to pick this lady over the little kid. Like, there just isn't, right? As I see them getting closer, Otis is with the instructor, and I'm like,
okay,
there's just no way. So then I see them get on.
Although, honestly, an instructor who's that oblivious to, like,
I think he thought they were going to go on the 3-chair, which I'm going to give him a pass.
Benefit of the doubt.
I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt.
Okay.
Oh
my God.
I take a video of them going up the chair.
And hoping and praying that Otis doesn't do one of his, like...
Slide outs.
Yep.
And then they get up to the top, and then I'm just standing. And I'm fucking there for at least 20 minutes before a sign of anyone. I can't see Otis because he's so small. I finally see the instructor because I make out his big bright jacket. And then I'm like, oh yeah, and there's a bunch of people.
Are you going to all worst case scenarios? Like, he fell off the lift. He like
No, I've kind of gotten past all the worst stuff. Just losing him in the beginning was the worst of it.
Yeah.
I'm kind of like, my big concern now is like, did I ruin skiing for him? Like, just is he miserable?
Right, hating this. Like, I can't believe what I signed up for.
And then all of a sudden, he fucking comes tooling down. I see where the instructor is, and I see where all the other beginner adults are. And I just see him fucking tooling down. I'm marching up the mountain to like meet with him because I don't want him to go all the way down and get so far
away
detached from his
class.
group. But he's crushing it. And I meet him and I'm like,
oh my God.
Hey, are you having fun? And he's like, yes. Like he's having a blast. And then I stand with him like in the middle of the run, mid-mountain, waiting for like 10 minutes for these adults to get there.
And again, are they not aware that there's a little tiny kid amongst?
Part of me is like, does the instructor not know that Otis came all the way down?
Yeah.
Like, had I not been there.
Oh my God. Can you imagine?
So anyways, long story short, he loved it and only got that one run. So really the lesson was just like them standing at the bottom, learning how to use their poles, which he didn't have. And then he got put on the chairlift. They must have talked about something at the top because, again, I didn't see them for like 20 minutes, right?
Well, I assume that he taught them about like
Sandwich?
pizza, going, how to turn.
I think so.
Because Otis knew kind of what he was doing enough to
get down.
Yeah.
And then so then Otis was like, can we keep going? I had forgot my snowboard boots and I was freezing. And so I was like, I'm sorry, bud, we can't. But like, do you want to come tomorrow? Because I'm like, if he really loves it. And he's like, yes.
Oh my gosh.
So I was like, well, let's see if we can
so
figure out a way to
great.
keep your rentals so I don't have to deal with the nightmare tomorrow.
Right.
So we figured that out, which was annoying, but I knew it wouldn't be as annoying as doing it in the morning. And we came back the next morning. We got up really early. I get on the highway. There's not a soul in sight. I'm like, we beat the rush. We got there right when the chairs opened. And we did like 6 runs. And he crushed it. So I was so excited.
So excited about this.
But one of the most stressful days I've had in a long
I'm so glad it was
time.
you and not me.
Like, you would have lost your mind.
I wouldn't have, he wouldn't have done the lesson. I would have which would have been, I mean, you maybe saved the day. And I feel like this is the first kind of sporting activity that he's really jazzed about.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, thank God it was you. Love it. That's, I mean, overall a wonderful experience for our son.
And I don't think he picked up on any of the craziness. This, I think in his eyes, I'm hoping, was like a really fun weekend.
And he wasn't, did he ever say, why was I with all adults?
Yeah, he did. He definitely did.
By the way, if you lose your kid, I mean, this is also more for littler kids. Otis now, we've taught him to go to, I mean, I usually say a mom or someone who works wherever you are and tell them you're lost. This was like on TikTok. A mom lost her kid and she was yelling out the kid's name, like trying to find the kid. And there were a bunch of people around and it was just, no one's finding her.
Yeah.
She starts yelling out what the kid's wearing. Pink shirt, yellow pants.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. Her name is Paige. Pink shirt. And everyone started, the kid was found immediately.
That's great.
So that's a good tip.
That's amazing.
In your case, only child in an adult class. I am a little, because the classes are not inexpensive, and I am a little dismayed that this instructor, I'll give him the chairlift benefit of the doubt, but like the pole thing, and then for all he knew, if you weren't there, this 8-year-old kid has just gone down his very first run by himself for 10 minutes.
So the instructor, when the instructor finally caught up, did win me over.
How?
He was like, well, one, he was like, I can't believe this is his first time ever.
Oh.
And then he was just like really, really nice. And he was like, I put this edgy wedgy thing on. You guys should buy one. This is like super helpful. And like, if you ever want to do another lesson, he's like giving his name. He seemed like very personable and like very nice. And so he won me over because I was also like, should I try to get another lesson out of this? Am I going to go make a fuss? But I know how annoying it is to make a fuss at this place to like,
yeah.
And I was just like, it all ended well.
Right.
And now it's like I took him the next day and there's no reason to do a lesson really. I feel like he should just go run, keep going. And I'll go with him, you know?
Yeah.
Instead of spending, it's so expensive lessons.
Yeah. Okay. Wow.
Yep.
Speaking of our sweet son,
Yeah.
so yesterday was the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And he has a friend at school who is an avid 49ers fan and has been since birth, I guess. And so Otis now has become a 49ers fan. And when they lost, he started crying and he like went into his room and got in bed and was like genuinely very sad.
So sad.
And it was really cute and heartwarming that he was that invested in it. But anyway, what a sweet kid.
He spoke up at the mountain. There was like someone in a 49ers jacket in front of us. And when they got to the lift operator was like, boo, 49ers, like just razzing this guy. And then when Otis got up and he was like, 49er, like it was the,
oh, really?
Yeah,
he was defending?
Yeah, it was the cutest thing.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Okay. Spoiler alert time. The homework was to watch American Nightmare on Netflix.
And you did it. Proud of you.
Yeah.
Going into this, we're about to talk about this. If you haven't seen it, just skip the rest of this episode.
Yeah, we're going to ride out on this.
I feel like everyone should watch this. And so if you haven't watched it, there's so many spoilers I'm about to do. So please just carry on with your lives and come join us. If you need more of us in the meantime, patreon.com/nobody's listening right. We're there a lot. So American Nightmare. Holy shit. First of all, just your overall thoughts.
My overall thoughts, I was taking notes of it, like, as I started it, and I cannot believe how my opinion changed throughout this. And in some ways, I found myself, like, at first a little upset at the documentary, but then I'm like, no, I actually don't think so. I think they did it correctly, and it wasn't in a salacious way compared to like that Natalia Grace documentary.
That was so, over.
I think that this documentary actually really made this with integrity, and any duping that you're duped in was to really hit home.
Drive the point home.
Yeah, drive the point home. This incredible story.
So I'm not trying to equate my situation or whatever to this, but there was an episode of A Million Little Things. It's called Trust Me. It's in season 3, where the story for this actor was based on the story I went through with this voiceover coach who had like groomed me over months and months and then assaulted me. Come to find out later, how I processed that was I thought I had like given him signals that I was interested in something happening. And part of the signals were him grooming me to convince me to take off my top in the recording booth where I thought I was like not being looked at, whatever. And I know there are episodes on Patreon fully explaining this. I know it sounds crazy. Like, why would you take off your top? But this is the mental fuckery that happens with grooming. This is about how the story was told. On this episode, we made the choice to have this character and the audience realize that what happened wasn't her fault, like at the same time. So the audience, it was kind of played out for the audience to think she was making all these choices, like this wasn't for that character. But in my case, like, well, she took off her top. All these things that you say to yourself, like, well, I did this, it's my fault. And it's not till the very end that you realize, oh my God, no, this was all calculated. This person's a predator. In my case, he did this to many dozens of other women in exactly the same way.
Yeah.
And so I do appreciate this. I appreciated in this documentary, starting out, the first episode, I thought this guy in this couple, it's a man and woman who are dating.
Mm-hmm.
Their relationship is a little rocky, that he killed her and made up this whole lie about her being kidnapped in the middle of the night. Because as he was being interviewed, I was like, they just set it up that way. You're on the side of the police. This guy's a fucking liar. Watching him squirm and stuff, and it kind of informs you, like, there's no right way to react. He called 911, like, in the morning when this happened the night before and said, well, I was drugged.
Mm-hmm.
All of these things that you're like, bullshit. You were panicking and figuring out what to do. Then in the second episode, information starts coming out that you're like, oh, wait, it wasn't him. Who is this bitch? The woman who was kidnapped.
I felt that way right from the beginning.
Really?
I did not think the guy was... I thought that if he was involved, it was only with the woman as well. And I never thought he was guilty.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
So it kind of played me in this other way. And then I was like, oh, I feel bad that I thought he was guilty. This woman clearly like set this all up and she's gone somewhere. And so in the meantime, it became clear that she had been kidnapped. The documentary starts giving you pieces of information, like showing video camera or text messages or something he had. He basically was told to stay in this perimeter area that was taped off for him in the apartment with a camera at him. And if he stepped outside of it or called anyone, they were going to hurt her. Mm-hmm. A true nightmare. But then there's videotape of like her being dropped off at home and the police going, well, that's crazy. Like 3 days later, the police think it's her, that she's created this whole thing because she's not talking to them once she goes back home to her dad's house. It's all, and it's so interesting because I am very much a believe women gal. Mm-hmm. And this just drove home so clearly how quickly we are able to dismiss women's trauma and to find a way to make it their own fault.
Yeah.
Because ultimately what we find out did happen is that she was kidnapped.
The story that her boyfriend told was completely true. Every story that she told was completely true.
These guys came in wetsuits, although they never found out who the second guy was. If there was I'm assuming there was because that's
I feel
their
like
story.
They alluded to that there might not have been a second guy, and maybe that was what that weird blow-up doll was or something that he kept.
Oh, interesting.
Like, there was some, but that's, I'm not sure about that whole part.
But so then, it also spoke to how fucked up our whole societal and judicial and policing system is. I mean, the police basically first were going after the boyfriend and then after the girlfriend, or kind of writing it off as the girlfriend is making all of this up for months and months. And not only that, dragging their names through the mud. Mm-hmm. So this woman who got kidnapped, and this trigger warning, I mean, this is the nightmare of all nightmares. Taken to some random cabin in the woods, raped multiple times, and also the way she was controlled to be raped was so horrific. Like, she couldn't act like she didn't like it because they were using that as collateral. All of this just nightmare for days. Being blindfolded for days on end, that alone is such a nightmare. And then add in everything else. Then they, I think, panic and return her, or this guy who luckily does end up getting caught and going to prison, which we'll get to, gets taken back to her dad's house and dropped off in Huntington Beach, hours and hours away, being driven around in the trunk of cars.
Yeah.
Gets there, and also has been told if you say anything about the captor's military background or the rapes, I will come after you again and your family. Mm-hmm. So she's not talking to the police, or she's denying what really happened to her. And I forget how she ended up going to get the testing kit, the sexual assault kit done, who it was. I think
the lawyer said she needed to do that, yeah.
So that's good, thank God. Also, all over the news is saying she fabricated this whole thing and wasted all of these police resources. The police did a full fucking news conference without even having interviewed her, saying, shame on her.
Yeah.
This never happened to her. She's lying about everything. So these people have to go about their lives. I forget if they stopped working. I mean, they've been through the trauma of all traumas and now are getting re-traumatized by the police. It's just, this made my blood boil in a way that I can't even describe. And the fact that it duped me into not believing a woman and blaming her was really unsettling. And that's why I'm I want everyone to watch it. We're so conditioned to jump to these conclusions that always make women out to be not the victim. It's their fault somehow. Even if it did happen, what did she do to make it happen? If it, or did it not happen? And she's making up the whole thing because she wants attention or she wants blah, blah, blah. I'm just so horrified.
I mean, what's really the thing I found the most heartbreaking of the whole thing was she then reveals that this was not the first time she's been sexually assaulted. Mm-hmm. She'd been assaulted 2 other times, and had horrible experiences dealing with authorities in that sense as well. Right. It's just heartbreaking. What's so wild about it is I went on such a crazy journey because I had the thought recently, the police get a really bad rap a lot of the time, especially in the last 5 years, obviously. Mm-hmm. But I had the thought recently, I saw some police in our lives, dealing with something just out in the real world, me driving by. And I did have the thought, fuck, man, that's a hard fucking job that these people have to do.
Yes.
And I'm very grateful that there are people out there that want to do that job.
They are heroes in some way. I think that...
And many of them are.
Many of them are.
Right. Can I let me finish what I'm going to say before you...
Well, let me also quantify that after you finish, because I don't want to just...
But then, and I'd had this particular experience before watching this documentary, and then so going into the documentary, that first episode, I'm kind of on the police side in the very beginning, and you're supposed to be as a viewer because you're something's up here. This isn't right.
And the detective was Detective Mustard, which also was
ridiculous,
crazy.
But then later in the story, you do have a female detective that is the one that cracks this case, does nothing to stop to figure it out, and is incredible. And the thing that, just getting to the whole police of it all, my biggest takeaway from it was that, these people aren't trained for this job at all.
All. They do not get the right training. They also, I was kind of horrified about, this was not that long ago. This was in 2018. 15. The systems, the female police officer had to call all these different police departments to get information, whereas I thought there was some big database that basically you type in laser light gun situation, that's how this guy woke these people up. And it turns out this predator had done this to women for years, kidnapped them or gone and snuck into their houses and assaulted them. And it was always this laser beam pointer used to wake them up and kind of destabilize them. Why is there not you just type in and there's a database of all of the open cases and crimes or closed where all of the information is logged digitally? This woman had to hunt down this information. she didn't know about this case and had been researching a very similar case, very hardcore for a while.
Yeah.
What happened was when they caught this guy for a different crime, and on the goggles in his like toolkit of torture, there was a blonde hair. And this woman was determined to find the female cop, was determined to find whose hair this was.
Yeah.
Now, in terms of police, like this again drove home to me, representation matters.
Yeah.
A woman, a female cop, I mean, not always, but is much more likely to care about protecting a woman. Obviously, the male cops had like barely any interest in. It's almost like they didn't even consider for a second. Oh, what if she is the victim? We don't have any evidence to prove otherwise.
Yeah.
Maybe we don't have evidence to prove she's a victim yet, but like, what if she is, and what I'm saying publicly is re-victimizing? Like, they don't even think of that, because I think a lot of police now, it's factually true, police is one of the lines of work that has the highest rate of domestic violence. A lot of police officers have rage issues. They hate women. They hate people of color. There's a lot of white supremacists who on purpose infiltrate becoming a person in a police position of authority to be able to decide who gets protection and who doesn't. And so that is to say, there are heroes in there, obviously. And you're right. I've seen police in action and thought, oh my God, like they just have to put themselves out there in a way that is terrifying.
Yeah.
And also they're not trained as well as they should be.
If you're not trained as well as you should be, plus there are unfortunately these horrible cultural prejudices against women, against people of color, that those two things mixed together makes for incredibly bad results, which we've seen over and over and over again. And hopefully it does seem that tide is starting to turn a little bit with the help of, as you're saying, better representation, with the help of these prejudices being addressed, whether that be through training or just as a society, which we've all had to look at all that stuff a lot more lately, which is good. But like, it is a mountain of a problem, it seems like. But this, I do think what is wild about this case is it does point out so many holes in the system, but also because it is an incredible story that is the core of this case.
They didn't believe the story
unbelievable
because it was so wild.
It was so
Two
wild.
men came in wetsuits, woke us up with lasers, had this guy turn over, put blacked out goggles on both of their eyes, drugged them, took the woman away, had the guy stay in this perimeter for a certain number of hours.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, okay.
It's just, yeah.
But I'm also like, it's so far-fetched. Why would he create all of that? Like, I don't know.
Think and I do think the documentary does a good job of this, it's like, this is so far-fetched that you had to have dreamt this up, almost.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. But to the police thing again, the other thing that's so infuriating, and you're right, I forgot about the fact that she had been assaulted before, she had been molested. Yeah. Like, this poor woman, and she's so strong and so amazing.
She's incredible. It's unreal.
Unbelievably, like, her depth of strength is, I mean, it's amazing. The police, I feel like we talked about the Catholic Church, obviously, recently. These authoritative, male-run, dominated, I don't know, entities, there are no checks and balances. That Detective Mustard and the police chief of whatever precinct it was, who not only didn't catch this guy, and he continued to hurt people until this female officer from a different area connected the dots. They ruined this person's life after they had been through two people, the worst trauma you could imagine. And I think they got sued by the couple rightfully, and they only got like 2.5 million, which maybe that sounds like a lot, but when your entire life and the amount of trauma, I'm like, they should have $20 million to deal with that. They should never have to work again so that they can process all of this. And like, I don't know. He got like police of the year award.
Yeah.
There's no accountability. And that's what drives me absolutely crazy. There's like, where are the checks and balances? And we saw that obviously with George Floyd. Millions and millions and millions of us were out there protesting for weeks on end. And it took forever for like a fraction of the justice to happen.
Yeah.
It's just so frustrating, this world. But it kind of, it was also eye-opening that, again, I thought that like the police system was much more kind of dialed in. And that's the way I feel about the medical system as well. I think doctors know so much and that there's some way, I mean, I think TV's in part to blame for this. Like, oh, you go in and doctors know everything and they're doing everything and they know how to fix everything. No, that's not true. And some doctors know some things and some don't. Like, it's not like there's a wealth of knowledge that they all have tapped into. And some doctors know about like studies that are happening and some don't. And some know about therapies that are happening. And it's like with police also, unfortunately, I'm like, it's hard to trust that they know what they're doing.
It is, but I think you could argue against that a little bit. That one, I think it's getting easier to figure out some of that stuff, and that it's also amazing that someone just did put all those crimes together. They eventually did. Which,
but why is there not goggles? Type in goggles.
No, I think
see all of the everything that
I think there is, and I think she chased down a ton of leads like that.
How did she not know about the other case that happened?
I see what you're saying, like a database for like the entire state or something.
Yes, or the country. Like there cannot be a database. She would have put those pieces together so much faster. That does not exist. She had to have like some random person was like, oh, well, that sounds like the case down in blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Wait, what? And then she looked it up and figured it out. Anyway, sorry. It makes my blood boil. I'm so impressed, though, by this couple. They ended up getting married, having a family, are beautiful and seemingly, I mean, obviously strong enough to relive their trauma. But I think it's such an important documentary. And it never even, like, I guess at the end when she's talking about her entire life experience, but it's never forcing down your throat that this is kind of like a expose on misogyny and the patriarchy.
Yeah, where it's clearly...
But that's the takeaway.
Such a huge part of it, yeah.
Yeah.
It is really upsetting. So go watch it.
Okay, well, happy Valentine's Day.
Whoa.
Oh, shit. We're the worst. We are, on our anniversary, we're talking about KFC affairs. What's wrong with us?
I don't know what's wrong with us.
Well, hopefully everyone's having a love-filled, fun-filled day.
We might, too.
How do you feel about Valentine's Day? I'm kind of, like, indifferent to it.
I know. I think I was a little more into it until we met. You have, like, an indifference to
well,
it.
That's really...
No.
You know how that sounds?
How?
I was really into Valentine's Day until we met.
No, because I feel like I have this memory of you being like, oh, I don't really, like, Valentine's Day is, like, you almost think it's kind of silly. Is that right?
I do, but you know what? Now with kids, to me, it's very much a kid's holiday now, and I did get like a bunch of Valentine stuff for them.
Nice.
And it's less about...
Did you remember to get me a card this time?
Yes, and also, you know, our anniversary is in the same month, and I feel like that's our big celebration of us.
That's very true.
So, but with kids, I enjoy it. It's fine. It's like, but I don't look at it as this like wildly romantic, you know, get swept off your feet with you. Again, now I'm shitting on Valentine's Day. On Valentine's Day.
I don't think many people... I'm going to go out on a limb and say it's also kind of lost its swag, Valentine's Day, over the years.
Hallmark has been struggling financially, and I don't know. By the way, speaking of Valentine's Day and love, the other day I was at La Mel.
Yeah.
And with a friend, and there were like no tables, and there were people waiting for tables. And I was like, oh, our couples therapist was there waiting for a table. And I got up and I gave her a hug. And I was like, hi. And she said, hi, oh my gosh, it's so good to see you. And she said, how are you all doing? And I was like,
God.
we're doing well. Like you really, because we haven't seen her in years now.
Yeah.
And I was like, you really, you did a good job with us. And I
That's
said,
funny.
but I'm sure we'll be back. And she was like, well, I'm always available. And it was very lovely to see her.
And you gave her your seat?
Yes.
I think you just lied to me.
Well, I did. I offered. I offered it to her. I said, oh, go get it.
Okay.
And she was like, I have my eyes on this one. This couple was leaving the table. She was like standing right next to it.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Sorry.
That's okay. Just, it is Valentine's
How
Day.
did you know that I was lying?
I could tell.
How? Because
You-
you have a tell. Your mouth does some weird jittery stuff.
I think there was like a hesitation and you're saying yes or something. I just knew.
Okay.
All right. Well,
Happy Valentine's
Happy
Day.
Valentine's Day.
Good night.